Genevieve Plays Rise of Berk here for part 3 of our comprehensive beginner's guide. This one is Berk basics, as in like the actual buildings and infrastructure and resources on Berk. So let's get started. So one way to talk about your level on Berk is your Meade Hall level, because Meade Hall determines how many Vikings you have, and how many Vikings you have determines how many resources you can hold and what level your academy is, and your level academy determines what level of dragons you can train up to. So that's a long way to say Meade Hall level is one way to determine your game level. And to advance your game, you need to upgrade Meade Hall. And when you click on your Meade Hall, it's going to tell you what you need to get to the next level. And usually this is a certain number of Vikings and a certain number of dragons at a certain level. So those are the markers you want to aim for in order to progress your Berk and get to the next level. Okay, so there are lots of things on your Berk that you need to upgrade as you go along, and you can upgrade these with fish or wood. You need to upgrade Meade Hall. You need to grow your Viking number, your Viking population, by building Viking hut shacks, windmills, and all sorts of other things. You also need to upgrade your fish basin and your wood stack. These are your resource storage. You also need to upgrade your academy so you can train dragons to higher levels. Then you will expand and build other islands. You can also buy them. Some of them you can buy with runes, others you unlock and build them with wood or iron. And then you also can increase your hangar space for how many dragons you can hold in the hangar rather than having displayed on Berk. Along the way, you also need to clean up your island, so this means clearing rocks and trees so you have more rooms for dragons and building. And then finally, the fun part is buying seasonal decorations and covering your Berk with thousands of firefly bushes or trees or whatever you want to buy from the seasonal market. It's a fun way to decorate your Berk and make it unique. Okay, let's briefly talk about fish and wood. These are the core of the game. For your fish, you need to upgrade your fish basin for feeding dragons, removing trees, upgrading your wood stack, upgrading your sawmills, for running journeys because you can pay for items with fish along the journeys, and eventually you'll convert fish to iron. The list for wood is very similar but inverse, such as removing rocks, training dragons, building structures, upgrading the fish basin and fish huts. Also, you can use wood for journeys, and then eventually you will use it for iron. So the only difference between fish and wood is that you use wood to build buildings, you don't use fish to build buildings. So that's the only difference. So fish and wood is your currency for everything on actual Berk. Eventually you use iron, but for the beginning stage, all you need to worry about is fish and wood. So the actual mechanics of training is pretty straightforward. You're going to send them for training at the academy. You'll pay for them with wood. As the levels get higher, you need to pay more and more wood in order to send them. And different dragons have different costs. The more premium, better dragons have a higher cost, and they train for a longer time. In order to train your dragons, you also need to feed them between 2 levels. So at first, it's 3 feedings for 2 levels. So it'll be like feed, feed, train, feed, feed, train. That's off a little bit at certain points, but for the most part, it's feed, feed, train. Eventually, it'll be feed, wood train, iron train, and it's weird. But for now, all you need to worry about is feed, feed, train. So you need fish and you need wood. Long term, fish is actually going to be the most important resource at the end, but for the first part, because you need wood for training and for building, wood is about equally as important as fish. And at the early stages, because you only have 2 training spots and you only have so many dragons, you will kind of need to alternate between who you're training and who you're gathering with, but you'll get a sense of rhythm eventually. Okay, so as I mentioned with Meade Hall level, you do need to upgrade your academy so you can train your dragons to higher levels so they can gather more and more. You do need to buy academy spaces. I really hate this. This is a core mechanic of the game. I wish you didn't have to spend the runes on it. So you do need to be careful. I do recommend buying the second academy spot right away. You may not always be using it in the very beginning of the game, but there are times where you want to be training 2 early on, and it's really helpful to have that second spot. I think it's runes really well spent. And then pretty much use as little runes as possible and save all your runes to buy the 3rd spot as soon as possible. There are academy sales, but these do not happen often enough or as often as they used to. So you do really want to budget for that 3rd spot. Keep your eye out for sales if you can, but save up for academy spots. It is so important because the more spots you have, the faster you can progress. If you're not concerned about progressing quickly, then don't worry about it. Save your runes. Speaking of runes, there are various ways to earn runes. I have an entire rune video you can check out to talk about all the ways there are to earn runes, but here are a few highlights. 1, link your game to Facebook, you'll get 200 runes. And 2, subscribe to the newsletter. The link isn't available on the game, but I'll have it in the description below. That gives you 300 runes. So you just need to make sure to check your email for the newsletter from the same device you play on, and you're good to go. Mystery packs have runes, and you can open 3 mystery packs a day. But then you can also watch an ad for mystery packs, because you can actually open up to 6 per day if you time it right. So that's plenty of runes. You can get runes from running journeys. You can get runes from the daily Facebook links on the Rise of Berk Facebook page. You can also rune farm with Toothless and many more. Check out that video for more on making runes. And as far as spending runes, your early game rune priorities are buying the Rider Dragons. Meat Lug you actually get for free. So Meat Lug you get for free, so you don't need to buy Meat Lug. Stormfly I do recommend buying, because as you'll see when I talk about journeys, journeys are essential to the game, and the sooner you can have Meat Lug and Stormfly, the better you'll be. So definitely buy Stormfly. There is a little bit of reimbursement. There used to be full reimbursement. Now there's not. But definitely buy Stormfly, totally worth it. But do wait on Hook Fang. You will want Hook Fang sooner rather than later, but because of how Brawl works, Hook Fang starts at grade 9. So wait until your other Brawl Dragons are at grade 9 before you buy Hook Fang, or your Brawl game is going to be pretty doomed for a while. So wait on Hook Fang until you're ready for him. If that doesn't make sense, watch the Brawl video. I'll explain it more. Other early game rune priorities, like I said, Academy Spaces. That is your #1 priority. After you buy the Rider Dragons, Academy Spaces. And pretty much you can buy Space 2 and Stormfly like I did in my walkthrough video, and you have enough runes for that. Other than that, save everything for Academy Spaces. Also, it may not be a bad idea to buy a 2nd spot in the hatchery. I don't necessarily recommend a 3rd spot, but especially as an early game player, you may need more than 1 spot, and 2 spots isn't a bad idea, because some of the event dragons can hatch for 6 days, and then you're stuck without being able to hatch anything. So 2 spots may not be a bad idea, and I think the 2nd spot is only 120 runes, so I think I do recommend that. And then finally, hangar space. You don't need it early, but keep that in your mind and like watch out for sales. So I'm not saying you need it early, but I'm saying as an early game player, keep that in mind and watch out for sales so you can buy spots, because that's pretty important and you'll need it in the long run. Okay, second to last part of actual game mechanics, basic mechanics, is we have quests. There are 5 types of quests. We have story quests. These are like the main storyline of the game that you can follow to progress the storyline. And these are over basic things like upgrading your Meade Hall, searching for specific dragons with Toothless, that kind of thing. Then we have villager quests. We have different characters, mostly from the TV show, that ask you to do certain quests for things like turning in collections, gathering fish, spending fish, that kind of thing. Then we have legendary quests. These are the quests you complete to help you unlock the legendary dragons. We also have training quests. These are from the Rider friends that will ask you to train specific species. And then we also have journey quests, which ask you to go on journeys with your Rider friends. And finally, we have legendaries. I have an entire video on legendaries. It doesn't include Elder Sentinel because I made that before Elder Sentinel came out, but check that out for my full detailed guide on the best, most efficient ways to complete legendaries. But anyway, you complete quests for them, you complete collections for them, and then once you have them, the legendaries search for amber and collectibles, and they have themed collections for each legendary, and then each legendary has a special boost. Like Green Death has a training boost that decreases training cost. Forever Wing increases how much wood you're gathering. So they are fun to use. Not everyone uses them. I use a few of them, but they are fun. The first legendary you'll have is Green Death. He comes up when you get to Meade Hall level 5, if I remember correctly. But do check out my video for more. And before I leave you, just a few reminders. Save your support key, because that is the heart of your game and how support will restore your game if you ever lose it by any way. Then 2, there is no manual save, so do please be careful in switching between devices. Data loss does happen, so save your support key. You'll contact dragons@ludia.com in case you have any technical issues, but we can help you with some common issues that we can help you resolve on Discord that aren't big things. And finally, connect to CloudSafe if you can, whether that's Facebook, Apple, or Google. This is Genevieve Plays Rise of Berk. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys!